Guess what, folks? 2-0 on the Plains. We get to talk about it again with our guy Mike Gittens from the War Report. It means another War Report Wednesday, my friend. So far, so good on the Plains. How are we feeling about the Ball State victory, though?
2-0. I thought they would score more points, Rex.
Right.
But look, Hugh Freeze achieved what he wanted to do. He said in the Monday presser that he wanted balance. And what that looked like was 33 passes to 34 runs and testing Jackson Arnold's arm. What I saw on Saturday was I saw what looked like a lot of chemistry between Cam Coleman and Jackson Arnold.
That's some good news.
Yeah, very good news for Auburn fans. Something we haven't seen on the Plains in a while. Two five-star guys, man, just playing five-star ball. Maybe getting some five-star chicks, too. But look, at the end of the day, their chemistry is super important. And if they can be there for each other, Auburn has a chance to do something really special, because it's those special players in those special moments that you know are going to come this year. Can he make a play for his quarterback? Can he be exactly where his quarterback needs him to be? I'll take you back to the Iron Bowl a couple years ago, 4th and 31, and the Alabama receiver was right where Jalen Milroe needed him to be to make a once-in-a-lifetime play. Auburn is going to need some of that magic this season. And for what it's worth, in the better seasons, they've had that magic. I mean, they had it all through the 2013 season,
Absolutely.
That's for sure. But look, this, I think, is the start of something special. We are seeing unprecedented levels of talent on the Plains. And right now, through 2 games, Auburn looks so OP, man. They look so overpowered versus everyone that they're facing, and I think they'll get their first true test at Oklahoma.
Well, that test is coming up, but we also got to talk about kind of the big picture. Auburn back in the AP Top 25. Exciting to see for sure. First time in a long time. It feels like a lifetime ago. But can we say that Auburn has arrived yet?
No.
Okay.
No, because you can fall off that ranking really quickly with a bad enough loss versus Oklahoma. Look, a lot of people were, I think, rightfully kind of perturbed that Auburn did not move into the top 25 after beating a good Baylor team on the road. After we saw what Baylor did to SMU,
right.
Sawyer Robertson throwing for another 400 yards. Looks like he's going to have a lot of 400-yard games this season. But if you're Auburn, you're still in a prove-it phase. And so you're okay. Like, they're showing you just enough respect, sneaking you just inside the top 25. But if you want to maintain that ranking, you got to go out and you got to get one of these first 3 SEC games at Oklahoma,
right.
at Texas A&M, home versus Georgia. If you get 2 out of 3, Auburn, I think, is a top 10 team.
Absolutely. And look, the talent, five-star talents doing 5-star talent things. But let's talk defensively. If you were wearing a Ball State University jersey and Sylvester Smith was in your purview, it was a bad day for you. Sylvester Smith plays violently, and it is incredible to see on the defensive side of the ball. For all we talk about the offense, what did Sylvester Smith's performance mean to you? And it's setting the tone for DJ Durkin's defense.
Goodness, he brought the pain, didn't he? He was just everywhere making big hits. Hugh Freeze talked about him Monday and described him as a guy who just has earned it. Right? He's done everything they've asked of him, and he's going out there and he's making the most of every single play. So you need that edge. You need to play with that attitude, and you need guys who can go out there and make sure that when the next team hits the locker room after the game, that ice bath hits a little bit different, right? And that's what Sylvester Smith was out there doing. Auburn, all kudos to him.
Absolutely.
But Auburn has a ton of guys who can go do that, and that's what this defense has been. Auburn made DJ Durkin the 2nd highest paid assistant in the country for a reason this offseason. It's because guys are going out and they're doing that. Now, was Sylvester Smith a name that we were talking about in the preseason? No, not at all. But look at all these names emerging here for the Tigers. They've recruited so well, you're going to forget about 4 stars on the bench. That's how well they've recruited. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Hugh Freeze can do with it. One thing that I noted versus Baylor, and even more so versus Ball State, is Auburn just looks way more talented than their opponents through the first 2 games. Look, Baylor's a good football team, but if anybody with 2 eyes could see, Auburn had way more talent than Baylor did, and the only thing that was going to lose that game was bad coaching. That's it. And, through 2 games, Jackson Arnold, 0 turnovers.
That is a fantastic
yeah, right.
stat.
So, and they only have 1, and it was a backup tight end that fumbled there versus Ball State. So, look, this is a good team, and their ceiling, I think, is playoff with a little luck.
Okay.
They need a little luck.
Right.
But I think they're
again,
still
the
in
SEC
playoff.
is kind of, there are some teams that they're going to run into that are just monstrous, and there's nothing you can do
But
about
you don't need to win it anymore to get into the playoffs. You just
go.
need 10 wins. Ask Tennessee, ask Texas, right? Georgia obviously made it in as the SEC champs. But look, when I'm looking at what Auburn is able to do this year, Alabama had a chance last year to make it. They blew it. They lost to Vanderbilt.
Right.
So did Auburn.
Good old Diego
Missouri should have made it.
Yes.
Right. They blew it. South Carolina had a chance at the end to make it. They didn't make it. 9 wins is not enough to get you in anymore.
Double-digit 10, you have to have it.
Ole Miss had the easiest path of all of the teams I just named, and they blew it. They lost to Kentucky.
Right.
You can't lose to Kentucky. Auburn beat Kentucky by 2 scores on the road last year. So this is a team that has a chance to go really, really far, Rex. And look, we're getting into that stage. Like, look, if they can get out of this opening 3-game SEC stretch 1-3, they're 4-2 headed into mid-October. And you are entering a stage where any loss after that is really going to be disappointing.
Right.
Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mercer. Which one of those games are you not going to be disappointed at if you're an Auburn fan if they lose? You're going to be disappointed in all of them if they lose.
You've mentioned them several times in our preseason talks. Like, this is a very winnable stretch, so Auburn just needs to capitalize. We're going to talk about the South Alabama game coming up. But my goodness, if you were at Auburn or at Jordan-Hare Stadium for that fourth quarter hype up, the light show, the fireworks. Just talk to me about that environment. What was that like to see Auburn kind of give that unique experience to the fans there?
I saw a really cool video this morning of Kirby Smart talking at media days about when you go down to Auburn, doesn't matter what their record is, you just did something about that place, the toughest place to play in the country. And then he followed up with a clip of Nick Saban on the game day set saying that place is cursed.
Yes.
Look, that light show, I think that's the fourth quarter curse that they're putting on people down there. But man, look, it's a special environment. They just unveiled the North End scoreboard. They add so much to it. Now you don't have to break your neck to see replays. And we could see it clearly from the press box as well, too, which is great for us. We can see the in-stadium feed. But it just adds to what already was one of the best environments in college football. They have spent there's been no expense that's been held back to try to make this not just a place full of seats, but a smart, experience for football fans where you can see 2 huge video boards and you got light shows and a great sound system and almost nearly 90,000 fans that are really making it tough on opponents week in and week out.
Look, the stadium designers were smart not to put a roof on that place because it'll get blown off every single time. What an environment that place is. If you haven't been to Jordan-Hare, put it up. If you're an Auburn fan or not, put it on your bucket list. If you're a college football fan, it is special. But speaking of Jordan-Hare, South Alabama is the next game before we get into SEC play. Trap game-ish? What are we thinking of?
No, not really. Look, Auburn's going to win this football game. They're going to win it big, but you got to get healthy.
Okay.
Damari Alston could be held out of this one. Hugh Freeze said he'll be a game-time decision. The transfer from UConn, the running back Darrell Robinson, he had a 54-yard touchdown against Ball State. Hugh Freeze said they had to rush him to Birmingham for what looked like a freak injury.
Okay.
Yeah, something about blood, and it was.
Okay, that's kind of scary.
Yeah. So, but like we're praying for him that he'll be okay. You just want to be as healthy as you can. You want all of these guys to be able to experience and reap the benefits of their hard work by playing in these big games that are coming up. So Auburn's got 3 very big ones after South Alabama. Again, I expect them to 49-7.
Some lopsided at this point.
They gave up only 65 yards total versus Ball State.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. So
welcome to the SEC.
Yeah,
Ball State.
man. This is a really, really, really good defense. But yeah, they just got to get healthy here. So this game won't be close if they're focused.
That part. You got to stay focused, take advantage of the opportunities. Before we go, I want to take you back to last season compared to this season. How are you feeling after the first 2 games of this season compared to the first 2 games of last season? Is it almost day and night at this point?
Yeah, a lot more hopeful. I will tell you this, that when the eye test, Auburn passes the eye test.
Right, sure does.
When you look at these guys, you can tell they look more athletic, they look more confident, they look way more talented, and it's going to come down, I think versus Oklahoma, it's going to come down to who's got the better scheme. It's going to be a tough road test for Auburn, but if you can pull this one out, there's not a game on that schedule that they can't win, I'm telling you, including Georgia and Alabama. So if you can go on the road at Oklahoma and walk into Norman for the first time in college football history, come out with a win, I like Auburn's chances in most games that they play. They're not going to go undefeated, Rex, but they will have a chance to compete in all those games, and I think that's what Hugh Freeze wants.
Oklahoma did take down Michigan, was a really interesting interesting game right there. So, hey, look, I know we'll be excited in a couple of weeks. We got one more week, though. Got to take care of business against South Alabama. That is Mike G. Always great to talk with you, my friend. But, look, you do all this great work for us. And at the War Report, where can people find your work at?
Follow us at the War Report on every social media platform. Follow me at Mike Gittens on Twitter, at Mike Gittens _ on Instagram. Also got Locked On UCF. We're doing great work over there, too. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in and subscribing.
Big 12 SEC. Mike can do it all, guys. That's why we're so lucky to have him. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. All right, guys, that'll do it for another War Report Wednesday. We'll see you next week.